Well, if you've been joining us on Exploring Bethlehem and you've watched some of our episodes, you probably are struck by the fact that one common denominator as we explore the history of this great old town is the link between the people, many of whom were immigrants, and the lives that they built here in the New World. And whether they were Italian, Irish, German, Hungarian, or from Slovenia or Slovakia or Poland, something they had in common was these were tough people. These were people who came to America mostly for economic opportunity, but also they wanted to have the freedom to express themselves and worship the way they wanted to worship. And that brings us to an interesting story about the Polish people who emigrated to America and the way they established their church once they were in the New World. It's an interesting story, and we present it to you today on Exploring Bethlehem.
The history of Bethlehem is very often told through its many churches. From the earliest days, the town has been a mostly Christian community. And for about the first 100 years, it remained a closed Moravian village. Outsiders were not encouraged to live in Bethlehem. This changed once the Moravians decided to sell off the parcels of land that they owned on both sides of the river. At this point, industry developed and labor was needed. Much of that labor to build rail lines and canals and eventually to toil in the iron and steel mills came from Europe. At the end of the 19th century, the United States welcomed scores of Polish immigrants. These industrious people helped to build America. The individuals who came to Bethlehem, specifically to South Bethlehem, came mostly for economic opportunity. The history of Poles in Bethlehem dates back to the Revolutionary War era. Although Moravian Bethlehem was neutral, they welcomed a dashing cavalry officer who was recruited by Benjamin Franklin to whip the colonists into shape for their battle against England. The Moravians became fond of Count Casimir Pulaski, and the Count enjoyed his time while in the town. The Moravian sisters even embroidered a beautiful banner for him to carry into battle. Sadly, Count Pulaski died from wounds received in battle. In more recent times, Polish immigrants, like Italians, Slovens, Slavic people, Hungarians, and Germans, came to South Bethlehem and helped to build Bethlehem Iron and Steel into a world leader. And like the others before them, the Polish people built communities and churches. At the turn of the 20th century, Pennsylvania welcomed more Polish immigrants than any other state. American industry was booming, and jobs in the steel mills and factories were plentiful. Many Polish immigrants settled in the city of Bethlehem. Small, ethnically diverse communities struggled to find ways to maintain their native dialects and traditions, while also participating in the process of assimilating to American society. One way they accomplished the balance between two was through the institution of the church. With little money for a church of their own, the Poles in South Bethlehem held their first worship services in the previously established Hungarian and Italian parishes. As the population grew, the St. Stanislaus and St. Michael societies were created in 1903. These social clubs provided a firm foundation for the organization of the Polish Catholic Church in Bethlehem. In 1905, Father Francis Wiesock was granted funds to purchase land on the corner of Hayes and 5th Street, where St. Stanislaus Polish Catholic Church, named for the patron Polish saint, opened its doors in 1906. The church enjoyed both prosperity and hardship. In a testament to its affluence, emblems of national and religious iconography adorn the building. The statues of St. Stanislaus and the Immaculate Conception align the history of the Polish tradition with the biblical narrative. St. Stanislaus was also a place where food was made, picnics were hosted, polka was danced, chalupkis were baked, and cabbage and noodles were consumed during festivals. In darker times, the church experienced a split that caused families to leave and finances to dwindle. Following the 100th anniversary in 2006, declining membership and a shortage of priests caused the Catholic Diocese of Allentown to close St. Stanislaus in 2008. While the original church building is now home to Southside Lofts, St. Stanislaus Church leaves a legacy of strong faith and love for the church, and lives on in memory as a significant center of the Polish traditions in South Bethlehem. Meanwhile, the disaffected Poles, who were unhappy with the Roman Catholic leadership, split away, choosing instead to follow Father Franciszek Hoder, a Polish immigrant to the United States and a Catholic priest. In 1897, he became pastor of St. Stanislaus Cathedral in Scranton. Continued discontent led to an open rupture with the U.S. Catholic Church in 1897, when Polish immigrants founded an independent Polish body headquartered in Scranton with initially some 20,000 members. In Bethlehem, there are two examples of this split in Catholicism. The traditional Roman Rite parish known as St. Stanislaus was established and built on Hayes Street in 1906. Polish National Catholic Church became a sanctuary for all those spiritually injured and harmed. This period was a time of great trial for the members of this new church. Roman Catholics treated the members as traitors. The members of the church were often the targets of physical violence and verbal abuse. Oftentimes, members' children were forced to walk on the other side of the street while they were mocked. These insults were borne with Christian charity and in keeping with the words of Christ.
Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. If someone strikes you on one cheek, turn to him the other also. If someone takes your cloak, do not stop him from taking your tunic. Give to everyone who asks you, and if anyone takes what belongs to you, do not demand it back. Luke 6:28-30.
In 1925, the people of Polish Roman Catholic descent here in the Lehigh Valley found themselves facing the same problems as the people in Scranton had faced 40 years earlier. Both in Allentown and Bethlehem, they decided they were not going to stand for oppression either. So, two parishes were organized through their hard work: Resurrection of Our Lord in Allentown in 1926 and Our Lord's Ascension in Bethlehem in 1927. Resurrection faced other problems and did not last much past 1941, so they joined with the folks in Bethlehem to form a stronger parish. Our Lord's Ascension purchased a small church building on the corner of 5th and William Steets on Bethlehem's south side, and a parish community grew. They decided to place themselves under the jurisdiction of the Polish National Catholic Church, inviting Prime Bishop Francis Hoder to come to Bethlehem. So on May 22, 1927, it came to pass. Our Lord's Ascension Parish remained on the south side of Bethlehem until 1975, when it came time to build a new building. Land was purchased on Jennings Street along with a house on Linden Street to serve as the rectory. In May of 1976, the Congregation of Our Lord's Ascension moved into our present church building.